Welcome to Spiritual Foundations for Life. This is day number 161. For the next number of days, we're going to look at how to deal with losses in our lives. And to introduce this topic, I want to share with you a number of quotes from people who suffered from loss. And the first person is Leo Tolstoy in his book Confessions. Here's what he wrote. The thought of suicide came to me as naturally then as the thought of improving life had come to me before. This thought was such a temptation that I had to use cunning against myself in order to not go through with it too hastily. I did not want to be in a hurry only because I wanted to use all of my strength to untangle my thoughts. If I could not get them untangled, I told myself I could always go through with it later. And that I was a fortunate man carrying a rope from room to room where I was alone every night as I undressed so that I would not hang myself from the beam between the closets. And I quit hunting with a gun so that I would not be too easily tempted to rid myself of life. I myself did not know what I wanted. I was afraid of life. I struggled to get rid of it, and I hoped for something from it. And this was happening to me at a time when, from all indications, I should have been considered a completely happy man. This was when I was not yet 50 years old. I had a good, loving, and beloved wife, fine children, and a large estate that was growing and expanding without any effort on my part. More than ever before, I was respected by friends and acquaintances, praised by strangers, and I could claim a certain renown without really deluding myself. Those were the words of Leo Tolstoy in his book Confessions. Second quote by Virginia Woolf. Dearest, I feel certain that I'm going mad again. I feel we can't go through another of those terrible times. And I shan't recover this time. I begin to hear voices and I can't concentrate. So I am doing what seems the best thing to do. You have given me the greatest possible happiness. You've been in every way all that anyone could be. I don't think that two people could have been happier till this terrible disease came, and I can't fight it any longer. These were the words of Virginia Woolf in her final letter to her husband before she died. One more email sent to a man named Neil Anderson, a positive testimony for change. My wife was freed from 5 years of clinical depression after working through the steps to freedom in Christ. The 2 years before this, my wife had been institutionalized for a week and had been drugged to the extent that she was living like a zombie. She was taking more than 9 medications for her illness, more than 30 pills daily. Just 2 weeks prior to meeting with our pastor to go through the 7 steps to freedom in Christ, I gave up and I decided to quit my marriage of more than 20 years. My son shamed me into staying, and I thank God every day for having him do so. After working through the 7 steps and praying for the renewing of my wife's mind, we saw a healing from God. My wife was able to stop all of the medications except for 2. She is now fully able to live her life fully, and whereas before she hid in our room and wished her life was over. Here's one more positive testimony. I am 27 years old on my second marriage and I have 5 kids. I've been dealing with depression for most of my life. I've tried many things to stop the pain and I've overdosed on meds several times. My church was going through the Victory Over Darkness video series, and when I saw the lesson called The Battle for Our Minds, I realized that I wasn't crazy. I have always heard voices in my head, but I was afraid to tell anyone. My pastor led me through the steps to freedom in Christ. The voices are gone and I am a new person. I wake up with a song of praise every morning. Folks, depression is a terrible condition and it has resulted in many lost lives. But the good news is that there is hope and even freedom for those who embrace the promises and the power of Christ. And we'll talk more about that this week in our next Spiritual Foundations for Life. God bless you.